HUD Outlaws and Legends has been out for a few days and I've already played a fair bit of it. I've had a go playing every character, but the first one I got to level 10, and the one I spent the most time playing, has been the Hunter, Marianne, or Marianne. I actually don't know the way it's supposed to be said. I would say that I'm by no means an expert playing her, but I have discovered a few things through my gameplay with her that I thought were quite interesting and decided I wanted to share. So yeah, let's not waste any time, let's get straight into tip 1. I found that playing Marianne well means finding the perfect balance between stealth and close to mid-range combat. If you decide that you want to take the perks to improve your close-range combat ability, you might find that there are situations where you run out of ammo at very inopportune times.
Out of bullets.
Of course, you could disengage completely and go find ammo, but depending on where you are on the map and what's happening, that might not be the best option. This is where the perk Roving Rogue comes in. Roving Rogue allows you to retrieve more ammo from the environment. This means that any bolts you fire are less likely to break on impact, and when you retrieve them, you're likely to get more than one. The trick here is, this doesn't just apply to bolts that have been fired at players, this applies to bolts that have been fired anywhere. This means that while playing Marianne, you can fire bolts at the ground or the wall and have a chance of picking up more than you fired. With this trick, you can go from being in a sticky situation with only 3 bolts left to having 9 bolts by just firing them into the nearest wall. Of course, the bolts still have a small chance to break, and you might get very unlucky, but if you have 1 bolt remaining, there is a chance, without reaching an ammo crate, that you can get back to full ammo. Something tells me that the developers did not intend for this perk to work this way, and at some point in the future I can see this being patched, as I would say it is technically an exploit. However, while it's still in the game, there are some situations where it could be extremely useful. If, like me, you've also been playing Marianne a lot, you're probably already aware that you cannot outrun a John. John's standard sprint speed without any perks is already faster than Marianne. This means that you'll probably find yourself in a lot of situations where you're on low health with no ammo. Your teammates are fairly nearby, but you don't think you'll be able to reach them before getting slammed in the head by his gigantic hammer. However, there is a way for Marianne to keep pace with John, even just for a short distance. Like the other 3 characters, Marianne has a sprinting attack, where she tumbles, leaps forward and slashes. Now, obviously this is dependent on how much stamina you have, but if you do have a full stamina bar, and your teammates are nearby, you can outrun that John long enough to get back to safety. Also, if anyone's interested, this doesn't work the other way around. John's sprinting slam attack slows him down considerably. In the right hands, Marianne's crossbow can be deadly. A close range bolt to the body deals a decent amount of damage, and even more so to the head. A few accurate bolts can easily bring down a John and a Tuck. During my early games, I spent a lot of time trying to get off as many triple shot hits as I could. Now, don't get me wrong, the triple shot does a lot of damage if you hit all 3 bolts. However, on a moving target, it's very unlikely that you're going to connect with all 3. My advice would be, unless the target you're firing at is standing still, do not charge all 3 shots. Don't even charge 2. Always fire single shots. You might think that this will be slower, however, firing 3 single shots is almost the exact same speed as firing a triple burst shot. To get the most out of firing single shots like this, I would suggest taking the perk Refined Frame. With this, you can move faster while aiming, but the accuracy, stability and damage of your weapon is also improved. It does say it costs recoil and recovery time, but the recoil only applies to firing 3 shots, which you should rarely be doing anyway with this build. However, if you do want to fire a triple shot and have taken Refined Frame, make sure you start lower down on the body, so that as the recoil rides up, the last bolt should hit them in the head. Before I close off, here's a little bonus tip for anyone who hasn't had a proper chance to experiment with the game. The AI in this game are extremely stupid.
For the forest.
False alarm. Get back on patrol.
Their field of vision is very limited, and they cannot see what's happening in front of them if you are obscured by smoke, gas, or a bush. This is exceptionally useful for Marianne, As she can assassinate guards from any direction, you can lure a number of them into the same bush and kill them one by one to very quickly fill your ability meter. There are multiple ways to do this. You could whistle, drawing a guard in.
Who's that? Show yourself.
Firing at the guards also causes them to walk into a nearby bush. Or, if you don't care about alerting the guards, you can literally just run around in circles till they all follow you. After about 10 seconds or so of being out of sight, the guards will lose track of you, or you could throw down a smoke grenade in order to remove the suspicion immediately. As long as you don't assassinate a guard too close to another guard, they will not see what you're doing, even if you are right in front of their eyes. Normally, it takes around 6 assassinations of guards to fill the ability meter completely. However, if you take the perk Efficient Assassin, it should only take about 4. One final thing, this isn't really a tip or a bit of advice, it's just something quite amusing that I found once when I was messing around in the lobby. For reasons unknown, if Marianne performs her sprinting attack against one of the locations where you can interact, she will draw blood. My friends and I have no idea why this happens. We theorise that maybe the game makers make the blood come out of her knife rather than the enemy, and something to do with the way that they've created these interactive locations means that it draws the blood the way an enemy would. I imagine this will get patched eventually, but I just thought it was funny. There we go, so that was 3 tips to help master Marianne. I don't know. I assume it's supposed to be Marion, but it's written Marianne. Anyway, this is different to a lot of the videos I normally make. I don't tend to do these like explanatory ones. I tend to just play a lot of games, but if people like this kind of video, let me know. Say something in the comments below, like it. I actually like it. And maybe I'll make one for the other 3 characters, John, Tuck, and Robin. Nearly forgot it then. Thanks for watching, and hopefully somebody learnt something that will help them when playing the game, or everything I've said is wrong, and somebody will point it out. So is the way of YouTube.